Okay, we are doing some tests today. This is our first video that actually we know is going to be on the internet. Usually if you've seen any videos, it's just our in-house testing, research and development, and turns out they get put on YouTube. So we actually know that this is going to be on YouTube, so I'll be on slightly better behavior probably than normal. And we're testing today the ZT, what is this thing, a 300?
I think 350.
ZT 350. Retail 70 or 175. It's about 6.2 ounces. We're going to test it versus an 8A medium Espada. The retail on this one is 129. However, this knife is soon to be arriving at 179 with the XHP blade DLC. So it'll be very comparable to the ZT as far as materials at that point. We don't have that now, so we're just going to test as is. So here's the Espada. It's called the medium Espada, even though it's the smallest one. And the ZT, the edges and points have been taken off, so they're safe. So something, you know, don't want to get cut. I drilled holes the same length from the pivots to work in the testing machine and to work in the weight hang machine here. Not much of a machine. Anyway, so a little background is when we would test our knives, we would make sure, hey, we don't want this to, you know, to pop off under impact. And now, yeah, sure, you don't use your knife like that, but it's a lock. You want it to work in all directions, even though you're not going to do that. And we would say, oh, it has to take five spine wax on the steel table, and we would come here and hit this, bang, 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 and then someone else at a different location would hit it on a different table, or maybe a wooden table with this piece of steel, and nothing seemed to be the same. So that's when we made this impact machine right there that hits in the same spot with the same consistency, with the same force every time. And since we've made that, it's kind of snowballed into testing everything. So first thing we do here, make sure this is going to hang. The holes are going to be the same distance from the pivot. So you would take this weight times the length from the pivot to get how many inch-pounds of torque you're going to hold. And there's a pin. This is a just pin in here. And then these are in the same location here. Whoa. All right. I don't know what just happened there. I'm guessing that's not. I'm guessing that's not going to hold a lot of weight. All right. Now that could be dangerous for a person. I'm glad I unsharpened these. This is another one. I haven't done any of these, but unsharpened them. All right. That with that amount of wrist pressure, I feel it flexing, but it's not going anywhere. This one, oh, it feels like it. Oh, that really hurt. In fact, that thing hurt my hand. What am I going to say? Is the testing done yet? Because that's pretty bad. Let's say this one is unopened. This thing is still sharp, so I'm going to be real careful. Liner locks and frame locks sometimes can be inconsistent. I'm going to hold that. There you go. Okay, so I'm guessing it's not going to hold a lot of weight. Let's put it that way. This is brand new and sharp. I'm going to put that back in the box. And Mark, do not play with, because that's going to be dangerous. So we will continue with the test, although it's not going to go far, but we'll see. All right, anyway, yeah, the Espadas don't do that. Well, we have, how many times am I going to drop that? We have one of these that works. I think it's that one. Yeah. All right, that one is out of the box, no good. So let's just mark that. I'm going to give that a big NFG. You can guess what that stands for. Okay. All right, now we're going to go over, leave the NFG here. The impact machine. So as I was saying, we would want to hit the same spot with the same consistency and the same force every time. Look, I even got cut from that damn choil. Do this.
What's up, guys?
Hey, UPS, no pickup.
Nothing yet?
No,
All right.
thanks.
Have a good weekend.
We'll see you.
See ya.
The running of a shop. All right, now I'm just going to keep leading. It's all right. And the impact machine. So what we do is we put a pin through here. We choose a position based on the length of the handle. In this case, we're doing, it might not be a longer screw. We're doing hole number 8. We try to stay consistent with the location because, you know, it can change the, obviously, the leverage. We put a washer on both sides, and we torque this down to a set amount. Not much. The only reason we torque it down is because if you leave the knife loose, it swings with a devastating amount of force, and usually blades just shatter. Okay? So we pick 30 pounds. We use a torque wrench. Come in here. Sometimes if it's a plastic handle, we'll squish in, and we'll put a spacer under to keep it. So we're at 30 pounds. And all that's going to do, 60 pounds, it wouldn't matter. That's just going to hold the knife as it would be in my hand, because I can't hold it that hard, but I certainly don't let it whip like a whip. You know, just like that. I'm afraid to do that now. Anyway, so you got 30 pounds of torque. These knives are going to go here, hit the exact same spot. All right? 30 pounds of weight, 30 pounds of torque, hardened steel plate, position number 8. We like to, this is the minimum standard for cold steel. And you might say, oh, those knives swing in different amounts. Well, I don't know. It's just the mass of the knife or whatever. I will keep checking the torque. Our minimum acceptable standard is 5 spine whacks like that. Number 2. Getting blood on the knife and on my hand. Number 3. If you've seen the last videos, you know that if we add more weight down there, it swings a lot faster. And number 4. And last one. Number 5. Okay, so I'm going to switch that off. Now that is the knife that didn't fail by the weight of my hand. That was not really, well, it's not the weight of my hand, but just a little push. So now this is nothing been done to this except we took the point off, edge and point for safety. Wait a minute, is it the same place? Make sure I'm doing this correctly. Nope. Number 8. I don't know if, yeah, I have to just stand by. I'll have to stick something in there because it's actually squeezing that. I don't know why with G10 and steel liners that's flexing in so much. I guess it's the amount of the backspacer. One more. I want to be as fair as possible, and what I don't want to do is have the frame squeeze in there and then put it like an abnormal buckle in the blade or in the liner. All right, so that is snug in there now. What that's going to do is keep this from pressing in and deforming the spring shape. Although from what we've seen already, it may not matter. Okay, it's 30 pounds. This is the one that didn't pop off instantly, so it might be good. Okay, that is an automatic failure. And lots of play. Our tiniest little knife, our Tough Light passes this. Our Fin Wolf passes this with flying colors. So there's a big fat F. Wait a minute. Is it redeemed because it passed? No. Because one failure is all you need.
Your fingers are gone.
Before your fingers are gone. Sometimes you'll find with liner locks or frame locks is that after you beat them into place, sometimes they'll hold better. But it's not your responsibility to beat it into place, because who knows how to do that. All right, there you go. We're going to leave that as a failure. Okay? Now, normally we do overstrikes. That hits this way. Again, if you're swinging at something and you're missing it, hits. I don't think we're going to do that, because obviously this is not passing any tests. We'll start with this. Normally, what we do is we try to hang our weights 4 inches back, so then we can then multiply by 4. And if you have 100 pounds at your 4 inches back, then we would call that to be 400 pounds, received by the lock. So what we'll do, mostly with triad locks, we'll start at 100 pounds. I don't know that there's a triad lock that can't hold 100 pounds. It has to be really, really tiny. Okay. But because this is a frame lock and I'm not familiar with it, or this is a liner lock, even though it's thick liner, it's a liner lock. We're going to go for 45 pounds. Impact is different from the static weight. Sometimes things will bounce out there and they'll still hold here. That's like saying you have a door in your house and you can't push it open when this lock's open, but if you hit it, it pops open. Who wants that? You need both resistance to shock and then the slow weight hang here. So it'll be interesting to see. All right, 45 pounds. You'll notice I have my new pumping galvanize here. Try to get more control. We're going straight to 90. Even though this knife was already felled, we still want to know everything about how it's going to perform. It does have a 30V blade. What I assume are stainless steel heat-treated liners, lock-side liner too, and a G10. So it sure is interesting that it fell so easily on impact, but it's holding 90 pounds, and we don't count the weight of the other stuff, but maybe 100 pounds, or we'll call that 90. And what we're going to do now, since we're up to at least a starting weight for a triad, is we're just going to throw a 10 on here. And we're going to clarify that it's an even 100 pounds it holds. Now, it might do better if we had not impact tested it first, but our standard, and we're testing to our standard, because we want to know how, all the other tactical knives or big bores or whoever compare to ours, and how ours compare to theirs, because we're trying to make the best, strongest knife. All right, there you go. So the knife will not hold 100 pounds, will not pass an impact test, and will hardly 1 out of 3 fail by hand pressure. And I'm not incredibly strong. So right now, where that is, let's just stick the Espada in there. This is a medium Espada again. And of course, right now, it has the 8A blade. Nothing's going to change when it has the XHP blade, except it's going to be DLC coated. And it's going to be some awesome, awesome edge retention. I would think that you can favorably compare XHP to 30V. As you can see, I'm still bleeding. Could have been a lost time work accident. Technical difficulties. I've been instructed not to press pause. So we have to suffer through me fumbling around with this hillbilly engineered system. All right. So there is.
I saw that.
The things I do for cold steel.
How you suffer for your art.
I suffer. Here comes 100 pounds. Oh yeah, that made the other knife pop off. Again, that's where we start. Now, I would love to give you all my opinions, preferences, and likes and dislikes about both of these knives. Let me get this out so I can talk about it. Brand new. We're not trying to be mean to ZT or anybody. We're just basically, you know, two fighters having a fight right now, and one's coming out on top. You know, you might like this shape, you might like that shape. I have my own preferences. I would love to tell you all about them, but I'm not going to because, you know, there's lots of knife reviews out there, and you can hear all their opinions. And I always say that, you know, opinions are opinions, but performance is a fact. And I'm just here to show you the facts that you know, we're trying to make you the best, strongest knife. And I think we're showing it because I would think that this knife has a really high reputation. It's an expensive knife. It has, on paper, all the credentials. Every great credential on paper. If you were just reviewing this knife, you'd say, man, this is awesome, this curve, DLC, this, that, and everything. Well, it all boils down for me to performance. Whether you like, this is the Espada, which is a Navaja, Spanish Navaja style knife, versus obviously the Canonian. I think you can tell by looking, if you know knives, the wonderful Canonian shapes and designs. But you know, it's just about right now the cold steel triad lock versus the ZT liner lock. And I'm sure this knife has a really good reputation and a good standing, and it looks really great on paper. But again, the opinions of that are opinions, and the performance is a fact, and here it is. So let's just go ahead, and since that knife fell at 100, we'll throw 100. Let's do another one. We got 190 there now, right?
Yep.
Got all these little ones. This old sear slab. We'll go 200 pounds. And we'll probably stop there because it's like, you know, the knife's high enough, we need a new competitor. So we're going to just see if we get 200 pounds out of this. I hope I'm not being cocky here, because it could break and it'd be like, oh, what am I going to do? But, or my paracord might stretch all the way down to the bottom. This thing is this hydraulic, whatever this thing is called, a hand truck, is sure pretty nice to use. Okay, there's my 200 pounds. Holding twice as much as the ZT. Passing all the impact tests, and not being able to be felt by hand. Hey guys, if a knife fells on the impact machine, it still might be great, because you might not ever be dumb enough, or strong enough, or careless enough to produce that kind of force. But, if you put it in here, and you push on it, and it closes on your hands, look out. Alright, so let's just pull this out. Like a hatchet knot. That means it takes a hatchet to take it off. No play, none. Ignore the blood. No side. No up and down. Take that off there. Winner. Medium Espada.